You walk into a restaurant, two sections. One is packed with people, loud and warm and buzzing. The other is empty, silent, still. You choose the crowded one. You don't know why. You just do. That moment, that tiny automatic pull toward the group, is one of the oldest forces inside you, and it has been running your decisions for far longer than you realize. It's called herd behavior, and the real answer to why you do it is far stranger than you think. Your brain is not built for the world you live in. It is built for a world that vanished roughly 10,000 years ago, a world of open plains, scarce food, and predators that moved fast in the dark. In that world, being alone was a death sentence. The group was survival. Your ancestors who wandered off alone, they did not come back. The ones who stayed close, who watched what others did and did the same, they lived. They had children. You are one of those children. This is not a metaphor. This is biology. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent decades studying the social brain. His research showed that when you are excluded from a group, even a group of strangers, your brain registers it in exactly the same region that processes physical pain, the anterior cingulate cortex. Being left out hurts, literally. Your nervous system does not distinguish between a broken arm and a broken social bond. Both are emergencies, both demand a response. So the crowd is not just comfort, the crowd is safety, and your brain has been wired to chase it for 200,000 years. But here is where it gets strange. In 1951, psychologist Solomon Asch ran a deceptively simple experiment. He sat a single test subject in a room with several other people. They were shown two cards, one with a single line, one with three lines of obviously different lengths. The group was asked which line on the second card matched the first. The answer was obvious. Any child could see it. Except the other people in the room were actors, and the actors deliberately gave the wrong answer, and here is what happened. 75% of test subjects went along with the wrong answer at least once. 32% of the time they conformed entirely, even when their own eyes told them the truth. They saw a shorter line and called it longer because everyone around them said so. Think about that. The answer was right in front of them. The truth was visible. And still, the pull of the group overrode it. Asch called it normative conformity. Your brain cares less about being right than about being accepted. Because in the ancient world, being right about a line meant nothing. Being accepted by your tribe meant everything. There is a second mechanism working alongside this one. It is called informational conformity, and it is even more powerful. When you do not know what to do, when you are in a new city or facing an unfamiliar menu or watching a stock market in freefall, you look at what others are doing and treat it as evidence. Their behavior becomes your data. If everyone is running, something must be worth running from. If everyone is buying, something must be worth buying. Economist Robert Shiller at Yale documented this in his work on irrational exuberance, the tendency of financial markets to amplify behavior beyond all rational basis, simply because everyone is watching everyone else. Bubbles do not form because people are stupid. They form because people are doing exactly what evolution built them to do, reading the group as a signal. Your ancestors did not have time for independent research. They had seconds to decide whether the rustling in the grass was wind or a predator. If three other people were already running, you ran. You could analyze it later. The ones who stopped to think, they became something else's dinner. Now here is the part nobody talks about. Conformity is not weakness, it is efficiency. It is outsourced cognition. Every time you follow the crowd, your brain is saving energy by not reinventing the wheel. The crowd has already processed the situation. You are simply downloading their conclusion. In most cases, most of the time, this works. The restaurant that is packed is probably better than the one that is empty. The new behavior that everyone around you is adopting probably works. The group is often right. The problem is that sometimes the group is catastrophically wrong, and you follow anyway. Social psychologist Philip Zimbardo spent his career studying this exact failure mode. How ordinary people, in group settings, do things their individual selves would never do. The bystander effect, the diffusion of responsibility, the slow, quiet drift toward behaviors that alone would feel unthinkable. It happens in financial panics, it happens in political movements, it happens in comment sections and crowded news feeds. The mechanism is the same. The ancient wiring does not update for context. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a savanna and a smartphone feed. It cannot distinguish between a tribe of 30 and a trending topic. It sees many people moving in one direction. It concludes, that direction is safe. That direction is where I belong. And so you scroll a little longer. You buy what everyone is buying. You believe what sounds like consensus, not because you are gullible, because you are ancient. But here is what Ash also found, buried in the footnotes. The conformity almost completely collapsed when just one other person in the room told the truth. One dissenting voice. That was enough. Not a majority. Not an argument. Just one person who looked at the line and said what they actually saw. The subject's confidence returned, their independent judgment re-engaged. This is the other side of the wiring. You are built to follow the crowd, but you are equally built to follow a signal, and sometimes you can be that signal. The next time you feel the pull toward the group, toward the crowded restaurant, the trending opinion, the popular choice, pause for 1 second. Ask yourself, is this what I actually see, or is this what I see everyone else seeing? That question is not new. You have always had the capacity to ask it. It just gets harder to hear inside a crowded room. You walked into a restaurant tonight because it was full of people, and maybe that was the right call. But now at least you know exactly why you walked in. And that's it for today's video. Human behavior is full of hidden patterns, biases, and fascinating psychological mechanisms that influence the way we think, feel, and act every day. On this channel, we'll break down these concepts in a simple and easy-to-understand way. If you're curious about human psychology and want to understand yourself and others better, make sure to stay tuned for future videos. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.